Speaking of horses is made possible by Equessentials Horse Care Products. For products developed by a horse person, for horse people, and horse use. Please check out Equessentials Horse Products. They have all the products you need to perfectly care for your horse's coat and physical appearance and well-being. Equessentials. We'd like to make your dreams come true at active riding trips. Whether you're an active horseman, avid horseman, or part-time horseman, you can enjoy active riding trips. You can ride the Gold Rush ride in the mountains of California near the Gold Rush Find, the hills of New England and Vermont, Virginia fox hunting, Tuscany to Ireland, and to South America. It's all there for you. You'll be treated like a king or a queen. And ActiveRidingTrips.com. Get a hold of them. Make your dreams come true and make memories. Well, as you've guessed by now, we are in Asheville, North Carolina. Where in the horse world are we? Asheville, for what is called the Piedmont Classic. Now, what is that? You would not think of Paso Fino horses and North Carolina, but that's what's going on. The Piedmont Classic, Paso Fino show, the 29th year of this classic. It's one of the larger Paso Fino shows in the country, and it's right here. Well, speaking of horses, we're spending this time here at the Piedmont Classic in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a beautiful Paso Fino show, and 29 years old. Next year of 2012 will be the 30th year for this show. And the show is obviously going on in the background, but I'm very pleased to be sitting here beside Mr. Rick Meyer. And Rick is a trainer of Paso Finos from St. Louis and falls in that professional category. But we want to talk a little bit about the Paso Fino horse and how it's really a horse for everybody. So first, welcome, Rick, and give us a little insight.
Wayne, thanks for asking me to be involved here today. I'll tell you the insight that I would probably show to the people out there about the Paso Fino is that it is a breed, because of the naturalness of the breed, it is a breed that the amateur riders can deal with and handle. The smoothness of the gait certainly allows people that are not accomplished equestrians to be able to sit there comfortable in the saddle and have the experience of riding a tremendously powerful horse with, again, the smoothness of the Paso Fino gait. It's a wonderful situation.
You know, it's one thing I guess I hadn't thought about, and it's so simple. I guess that's why it missed me. Is that, you know, a lot of new riders, new horse owners, you know, if you're in stock horses or whatever, you get a lot of bouncing and jigging, and if you're not really experienced as a rider yet, riding itself is a challenge until you get, you know, trained to do it. With the Paso Fino being so smooth, that's a real plus.
Well, you know, the entry-level Paso Fino horses are our trail horses. And when you get on a well-trained trail horse that maintains a gait and frame and everything else, I mean, somebody can come in off the street and in 10 minutes of just a basic instruction of balance and what buttons to push, sit down in this Ferrari of horses, sit there smoothly and go down the trail. That's where the people get hooked on this breed. They go from the trail horse and they go, there might be more to this, and maybe we can get into the show industry and whatever. So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, we know the Paso Fino horse goes back, you know, has its roots back to the Iberian Peninsula.
Correct.
And then came into Puerto Rico, Colombia, those areas, and eventually U.S. servicemen kind of brought it to the U.S. Yeah. But what makes it so unique in what in its training abilities and things? You know, what's been bred into this horse, or what's been there all along that kind of sets it apart?
Well, I think, without saying, is the natural four-beat gait of the horse. But over the years, I have watched people come into the breed, and I think what really gets the hook going is the natural elegance and style. That background of this Andalusian horse and that elegance and the overall carriage of the power and the long flowing manes and tails, and they have a superb eye. A lot of people really zero in on the eye of the horse, and it's as big as a moon. I mean, it really is beautiful. Then once you transfer all of that elegance and beauty to the four-beat gait, what else is there, you know? So.
And when you take that four-beat gait, basically all of the basic gaits that you do are that 4-beat gait with just different degrees of rapid footfall and of forward motion.
Well, actually, the degrees of collection is the bottom line. When you go from the walk, which is the normal 4-beat gait of all breeds of horses, all right? Once we go to the trot speed of the diagonal moving horses, that is what we call the Paso Corto. And in lieu of going to a diagonal 2-beat gait, we maintain that same 4-beat gait into the Paso Corto, which is a traveling speed, about the speed of a trot. We then extend that, and still maintaining the same frame, go to the Paso Largo, same 4-beat gait with more extension and more execution.
And then, of course, the thing that everybody loves to watch is going across the boards with all the sound, do that Classic Fino, which is a very rapid footfall.
Yes. In the Classic Fino division, the extremely rapid footfall, slow forward motion, and tremendous collection and frame and the power and whatever. One of the things we got to make sure that people understand about our sounding board, or the pista is what it's called in Spanish. That board is there for the judges to verify what they've already known about on the rail when they've been judging the rail. It is not there to pin a class on. It is not there for first, second, third because you did the best 72 feet. And that's a misnomer with a lot of people. It is, again, designed to verify what the judges already know about the rail work.
They've already seen it in the horse. They're just taking it across the board. Now the crowd, even if they're only moderately knowledgeable or not, just watching, can hear that, what the judges have already picked out. They can really hear it distinctly.
It's exactly right. And I'll tell you, because of the extensive breeding programs we have now in the United States and in the Latin American countries, we have bred a Classic Fino horse that has tremendous power and what we call brio, all of that elegance and style, maintaining superb collection and frame, roundness throughout the entire horse. Some of these horses are so quick, that there are a lot of people that cannot distinguish gait from non-gait if they don't go across a hard surface like the sounding board. And to verify that gait as a judge, that's all I look for. I want to make sure when I heard them on the rail and what I saw on the rail is, again, I verify it one more time on that sounding board.
Well, it's an amazing breed, and I'm really happy to be here for the last couple of days and be bringing to the Speaking of Horses TV audience part of the history of the Paso Fino here and the future as well. And I know we're going to talk with Jill in a little bit about next year's 30th anniversary and some neat things you may have planned for that. So if you get a chance, anytime, this time of year, year after year after year, Asheville, North Carolina is beautiful. The tip of the mountains here, going up toward the Smokies. You're only like 70 miles out of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's a gorgeous area. The Biltmore Estate, right up the road is the home of Billy Graham. I mean, it's all right here. So, Rick, thank you. Gooseberry Natural Feed was created to provide healthy products, basic nutrition, and enhance the digestive system and process in all equines. Gooseberry has certified organic ingredients for a total health feed. To learn more about Gooseberry Natural Feed, contact them at gooseberrynaturalfeed.net. Humane manufacturing mats reduce bedding costs. They cushion animals' joints and muscles. Mats will not absorb moisture and animal fluids. All of our recycled rubber mats and rubber floor products are made using only the best of the best, clean, green, and recycled. Antibacterial and antifungal agents are added during the manufacturing process, guaranteed not to curl or buckle as you see here. Rubber mats use the Lock Tough system. Use Humane Manufacturing stall mats for all of your needs. Well, again, we're here at the Piedmont Classic, the Paso Fino show in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm pleased to be sitting here with Gay Culverhouse. Now, Gay is an amateur owner of Paso Finos who comes up here from Tampa, Florida. And one of the things that we want to make sure that everybody understands about Paso Finos is, even though they are horses from that Iberian Peninsula, that they are very friendly and very open and very easy for an amateur owner to have, show, maintain, and have fun with. So, first of all, welcome, Gay, and tell us about your involvement as an amateur owner.
Well, I now own approximately 24, 26 horses, Paso Finos. I also have about 10 quarter horses. So I've ridden all sorts of different breeds over the years, and Paso Finos are as easy as a quarter horse to ride. They're just simple. They're sweet.
They're simple, they're sweet. They got a great disposition, right?
Yes, they do.
So, when you're working with them, you would consider them very trainable as well?
What makes them trainable is they're bright. They are just real bright horses. And if you are a consistent trainer and a consistent rider, they will give you exactly what you want.
Now, I'm going to bring up something that I discuss a lot of times in various breeds. Trail horse work, taking these horses out on the trail as offsetting the show ring, is really an invaluable experience, right?
Oh, it is, because when you're in this show ring, you don't know what's going to happen. There are little kids jumping around with cotton candy. There are noises from these birds. I saw a squirrel run across the ring the other day while I'm in the ring. So you take your show horses out on the trails to get them used to what's going to happen in the ring.
Well, I've always believed in that. I know there are people that don't, but I watch Paso Finos. You know, you take them out on the trail and let them gate out, and they love it.
Oh, they do. They'll gallop for you. They'll jump for you. They'll trot. They'll do anything you want.
You know, you said something that most people don't associate with Paso Finos. Now, I'm not saying that they're great eventing horses, but just a moment ago while we were sitting here, you know, preparing for these interviews, the versatility class was in, and you do jumping with them in the versatility class.
You do, and they're good jumpers. I'm not going to say they're going to jump 6 feet, but they'll give you a good 3 feet.
Well, it's just something you don't associate with a breed, you know. You think about it, you think about going down the Fino boards, and the footfall and the ride being so smooth, you know, and all that controlled energy they got. But you don't think about the jumping and the other things they do.
No, and when you let them go out on a trail or in a ring, you just let them go, you gallop them around, you're having fun, they're having a ball. They like to free up periodically, and you want them to free up. You want their muscles to move. And so as part of training, you put them in different gaits.
Lee Valgueras is my guest right now. Lee is the president of the National Paso Fino Association, or exactly, you can tell me exactly how it's worded, and we're glad to have Lee join us because here at this Piedmont Classic, this is a very large Paso Fino show that feeds in obviously to the Nationals later.
Hi, thank you very much for having me and giving you some input on this show and the breed of the Paso Fino horse.
Well, tell us a little bit about now. You say you live in Massachusetts. Tell us about your involvement with the Paso Finos, when it started, and how long you've been doing this.
Well, I live in Marion, Massachusetts, which is about 60 miles south of Boston. And I grew up on cowboys and Indians on TV. Excuse me. And this was my way of identifying and getting back and realizing my childhood dream. So about 12 or 14 years ago, I rented leased a Morgan, and I had some back problems and discovered the Paso Fino. And ever since then, it's opened a whole new sporting adventure for me, and I've gotten involved quite heavily where I show, and I love to go into parades and trail ride, and I just love the breed.
Well, the Paso Fino is a great horse for parades. I mean, you ever want to look at a horse that just has that energy bundled up and really can perform on parade? I mean, the Paso Fino can do it.
Well, we participate in the parade in Plymouth, Massachusetts, which is the second largest Thanksgiving Day parade in the country aside from Macy's, and they have 10,000 people along the way. And you can't believe the excitement of children when they see us coming down the street, and they want to know how we taught these horses how to tap dance. All right. And each year you can see that more and more people are aware of what a Paso Fino does. And, you know, part of our function in the PFHA, the Paso Fino National Association, is to allow and to let people know that this truly is a great horse outside of the show ring. And a lot of people don't realize that because it has slowly started from Florida, you know, because it came from cultural countries like Colombia, South America, and Puerto Rico, and has had to compete with a lot of different breeds in this country. As you know, there's a lot of breeds. And our demographic is quite interesting. Our demographic, aside from the cultural people in Florida, is the 40-year-old woman who rode horses when she was young, all right, raises a family, gives up horses, and at 40 years old says, I want to ride again because I love horses. Well, she doesn't want to get on a 16-hand horse. She doesn't want to have to post. And they come back and they buy these wonderful horses that they can just identify with and spend time with an animal that they love. And it's so smooth to ride that it's wonderful.
Well, that is the demographic that a lot of people look at. Is that you're right? The women who had horses as a kid, gave them up, raised families, they come back. And when they come back and they are ready. And not only are they ready, but they are at a point where when it comes to having the time and now a little bit of a disposable income to do it, they are really, really ready. And the Paso Fino breed is they're just fun to watch and be around. And it looks to the average person like they're just a bundle. I'm like, wow, I don't want to ride that horse. But it's not really that. It's not really that at all. They are just so controlled in their energy.
Well, I think that some of the horses are a bundle to ride, and I don't want to mislead anybody. But you do have horses that are absolutely calm, and I would put my granddaughter on it. And I'm sure that this is also true of every other breed, that you have hot horses. Absolutely. And you have horses that are calm.
Absolutely.
And there's a misperception that the Paso Fino breed is just this great big expensive horse. And again, horses in the Paso Fino breed sell for $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, just like quarter horses and cutting horses do. All right, but you can buy a horse today in today's market for a reasonable amount of money, and I just want to make sure that I tell everybody that is going to hear this interview that do your homework and do your homework, get some good advice, and buy a horse that is fit for your level of riding. Right. And that's true of every breed, not just the Paso Fino breed.
Well, that's absolutely true, and there are all levels, and you're right, whether it's quarter horse, whether you're going into the cutting horse world, reining horse world, you know, the horses that have the bloodlines and the proven record are going to be a lot of money. But there are many, many good horses at a very reasonable price, and the Paso Fino is, what we want to tell everybody is the Paso Fino is in that range. You know, a little bit of the misnomer comes when you talk about horses of the Iberian Peninsula. And then you're talking about Andalusians, Lusitanos, Paso Finos. But they are a great horse, and they have a great history, you know, in the world. But they're still a very affordable horse, and the sign is out. It says amateur owners welcome, right?
Yes, amateur owners are welcome, because people don't realize, and I'm sure in every breed, 80% of the Paso Fino owners are owned by people who ride recreationally. I bought my first horse to trail ride because I had a bad back. My second horse happened to be a show quality horse, and I got into showing and I got hooked. But I still love the recreational trail riding aspect. But if you look at that 80% of all the Paso Finos are owned by people out there trail riding, that means that 20% are represented in our shows around the country. So one of my goals as president of the PFHA is to promote the recreational rider. And by doing that, I think not only can we promote the breed, but we also will increase the participation in shows. Because if we sell 100 horses that people can buy, period, that means that 20 of them eventually will become show people. Right. And that's kind of what one of my goals is.
It's sort of like paying a salesman a commission. You would hope if you pay him a 10% commission that he sells $1 million worth of product, or that he makes $1 million. Because if he makes $1 million in commission, look what you sold. If 20% of those horses go in the show ring, every time you get 100 more horses out there, you got 20 more showing up, and the healthiness of the breed will continue to grow.
That's absolutely correct. And there's in many businesses, and I'm sure horses too, there's always misconceptions. We don't want to be perceived as we have recreational people and show people. We want it to be one breed, and we want to have each aspect of our breed help each other, because these show people can't really survive long term without a market for some of their horses, and the show people or the recreational people need some place to buy horses and trainers, and the trainers primarily are generated from the shows, and we have some excellent trainers in this country, and probably not enough, but we have some excellent trainers, and I have been trying to talk to them about they've got to make an effort to take a horse that they see would make a great trail horse, recreational horse, and don't try to make them a show horse. Just make them a bomb-proof horse, that you could bring a horse like that to a show here, and that horse, once he's a bomb-proof trail horse, I think the value of that horse is going to go up, because you can't find too many bomb-proof horses with this kind of spunk. You might be able to go out and buy a quarter horse. Quarter horses they don't have the same disposition.
Right. Well, the thing is, if you've got a horse that is, as you say, bomb-proof, now you've got a great horse to start the kids on. And if you start the kids on a horse that gives them a good experience, you're going to have a partner for life. If you start them on the horse that gives them a bad experience, you may lose them.
And I need to say this, because in this whole conversation I didn't say, and people don't understand why our horses are so smooth. They're smooth because they're a gaited horse, and they're smooth because technically when they're working perfectly, there's literally 3 feet on the ground at one time, and that means that you don't have to post. And that's the big difference between, there's really two kinds of horses: a horse that trots and a horse that is a lateral gaited horse. And they say, how do you make that horse do that? You see, we don't make that horse do it. It's born that way. And that is the real a calling card of the Paso, when somebody doesn't want to go out on a 2-hour trail ride and bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce.
And on a closing note, a guy, me, that has ridden stock horses on the trail against gaited horses, I know that either they're holding back for me or I'm bouncing to stay with them, or my wife and I are. So we've done that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't so bad when I was 25. It's a little different now. That, at the end of the day, that gaited horse is looking better and better because you don't come in as wrung out.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. I do want to say that this is almost for a guy to go back to his childhood, or anybody like yourself. If you love horses and you don't want to bounce, or if you've never ridden a horse and you get involved in a real good Paso Fino, you don't really have to go through all that learning and all that. You have to learn, of course, but you don't have to go through all that angst and agony to have a nice relationship with a horse.
Right. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here, Lee, and we wish everybody well here at the Piedmont Classic, at the upcoming Nationals, which again are September what?
They start September 21st, September 25th to October 1st at the Agri Center in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right, and it'll be a great time down there. Plus, there's a lot to do in Memphis, too. So, Lee, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right. Thank you.
And stay with us, because we're at the Piedmont Classic. We're looking at Paso Finos right here on Speaking of Horses. Well, again, we are here at the Piedmont Classic, and this time we're visiting with Jill Graff. She's the show chairperson for this Piedmont Classic, and it's really been a great show. There's still a lot to go, but I've enjoyed all the festivities and things that have been here, and this is the 29th year. So, first, Jill, we say welcome, and second, next year is going to be a real special year for you guys, right?
Yes, it is. It'll be the 30th year of the Piedmont Classic, having the Paso Fino Horses show at this facility and location for 30 years, so we're going to have a huge celebration for that event next year.
So 2012, are the dates roughly the same?
Yes, pretty much the same. I don't have the exact dates, but it's a Thursday through Sunday, third week of June.
Okay, so look for it in June 2012, and we will absolutely, so can you give us any kind of a sneak preview?
Well, definitely our celebration on Friday evening with the Black Tie and Boots extravaganza is going to be something to remember, and we're going to try to really make that a special event for everybody to come to, maybe even have some entertainment that will draw the outside people to purchase tickets, and like maybe a little mini concert with the horses is what we're shooting for.
Well, you can get some musicians and do a mini concert. You can add a few. The event this year with the Black Tie and Boots was really a nice event. Dinner, the tables set in the arena, and the dinner and the horses performing on the sounding boards, and the dancers added to it. But I could see going center stage with some specialty act and just adding to the. Make it a true evening entertainment celebrating the Paso Fino.
Definitely, and to draw the outside people here, to give them just a little something extra to come and experience our breed and what the Paso Fino horse is all about.
Yeah, and I know it's a lot of work for you guys to do this, but most people will tell you, it's sort of like the avid golfer, who has a terrible round, and he's going to quit throwing his clubs away and everything, but when his buddy said, "You want to play tomorrow?" he says, "What time?" You're always ready to jump right back in, no matter how tough it seems at the moment, you're ready to go again, right?
Definitely, Wayne. We, right now, my group, we're probably thinking, I don't want to do this again, but we're already making plans for next year.
Yeah, you'll get home and you'll say, "Oh, man, am I glad this is over. I want to rest for at least 4 or 5 weeks." And the next day the phone will ring and you'll be on something. So, but that's the kind of commitment it takes to make this happen. And you guys have it. You have a great group. You have a very friendly group. I've had a great time here, and you've been very cordial to me in speaking of horses, and I really appreciate that. So we look forward to the 30th.
Thank you, and we look forward to having you here as well.
I would love to be a part of that, and you stay with us because we're experiencing one of those beautiful horses originating on the Iberian Peninsula. It is the Paso Fino. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Speaking of Horses is also made possible through the courtesy of Equine Technologies. For all of your hoof treatment, hoof care, and hoof-related infectious problems, please contact Equine Technologies. Woodstar Products offers custom stalls for every barn and every barn style. Woodstar offers top quality design, construction, and customer service for every stall and barn need you can come up with. Custom built for you. Design your own stall with their new system online at woodstarproducts.com. Check them out. That's Woodstar Products.